Welcome students. Today I am going to talk about Middle English. In our last two lectures we have already discussed Old English and inflection, and I hope you have the clear idea of all those concepts. So let's start Middle English. In the last lecture on Old English we talked about the Anglo-Norman conquest of 1066. So first we should know that the period of Middle English is supposed to stretch from 1066 to 1500 AD. But this period from 1066 to around 1150 AD, English was not an official language in England. It was replaced by French to that status, and so you can say that this was a dark age with respect to the development of English language. There were no development in English, and the reason was we have already talked about it in the last lecture. If you have not watched that video, you should go and watch that, so you will have the concept. When William the Conqueror from Normandy of France invaded England and conquered it, he was not able to trust the people, the courtiers of England, and so he borrowed all his courtiers from France, from Normandy. And the reason was that those people were not able to speak, communicate in English language, and so overnight the status of official language changed. French became the official language of England, and English was relegated to the status of spoken language of the uneducated masses. So it was still a spoken language, but in our first lecture on language, we talked about the language and the dialect. What happens to a spoken language if it is not used in a written form? Actually, the written form functions as written language functions as a restraining influence. This is not a technical nomenclature, it is rather a practical thing. It functions as a restraining influence on any language. The language remains stable. It does not change frequently if it is used in written form. But when we speak, when you use a language only in spoken form and it is not used in written form, it is bound to vary according to the reason, according to the individuals, the way of speaking of individuals, and that's what happened to English language during that period. Within this period of a century, English language, since it was not used in written form, got divided into 5 different dialects. English was largely a spoken language during this period, so it was divided into 5 different dialects. These 2 dialects were the extreme form of variation, you can say. The variation were so vast that the people speaking this dialect, northern dialect, was not able to properly understand this dialect. Even the inflections were different. Here, in plurals, they used es or s form, while in this they used en form. Finally, this got dominance, and we still use this kind of inflection to make a noun plural, and this was ultimately subordinated to this one, and went out of use in the course of time in the modern English, as we can see. So it was very difficult to say which language was standard during this period. And even when English began to re-emerge uh, due to certain socio-political forces, actually that was a political cause that led the English to re-emerge and get its earlier position of official language. It was a compulsion for the Norman king to settle completely in England and to focus on better communication with the English people, and that's why they started promoting English. The reason was they had a tussle with the French king. They were the vassal of the French king, and the final result of that tussle was the loss of Normandy to French ruler Philip at that time. So Louis Philippe. So they did not have any other option. They had to focus on England and on English. So English, after 1150, it began to re-emerge and finally got its previous position. But at that time, it was a problem which English is to be chosen as standard English. There were other developments by that time. By the time when English began to re-emerge as an official language, that many French and Latin words had already made their way into English. French was a dominating language, and it was used for official purposes in court and by the elite of the elite class living in England at that time. So it was a very conducive environment for those esteemed languages to make a peaceful penetration into English. So that's what happened during that period. When English re-emerged as the official language of England, there were already around 10,000 French words into English, out of which around 7,500 are still in use. So most of the Anglo-Saxon word stock, means Germanic word stock, Old English word stock, went out of fashion. They were replaced by French words, the words related to government and administration and court and related to fashion and culture. All these words came into English from French, and even many Greek and Latin words also entered English through French. So, in a way, after 1150, English word stock began to acquire a cosmopolitan outlook, you can say. That process was completed by the author who went for French and other foreign words instead of old Germanic word stock. They were not satisfied with that. They thought that these words are not able to express the new concepts, and so they borrowed new words from foreign languages, different languages, and that changed the character of English word stock. But the French was one of the major influence during that period. Latin was also there, but French was the major influence. So, what influence this uh, foreign word stock made to English in other aspects? Actually, the pronunciation of French and English were different, so there were certain phonetic changes in English word stock as well, the way of pronouncing words. So the final M changed to N, and most of the vowels in used in inflections were just confined to one indeterminate vowel E, and all these changes took place during this period, finally resulting into the leveling of inflections. We already have a special class on inflection, and you must have recognized the term, and you must have recognized the concept of the term inflection, that in simple terms you can say word endings. So these inflections were leveled all through the Middle English period. The process continued all through this period, and it was much simplified. In fact, in Old English period, there were different word endings for different cases, different numbers, different tenses. So all those differences were eliminated, and inflection was still there, word ending was still there, but it was much leveled, it was uniform now. So it became a simple language, and the result was that now it became difficult to recognize the case of word by virtue of inflection, only by the use of inflection. And so word order, the importance of word order began to be recognized. People just began to emphasize on a proper word order, proper sequence while using the language. So you can say English was on the way of becoming an analytic language from the earlier synthetic language. This was the main development. So other main development was the change in pronunciation, as I have already mentioned, but towards the end of this period, towards the end of Middle English period, always remember the timeline. Towards the end of this period, uh, another great phenomenon took place, and that is known as the Great Vowel Shift. What happened exactly during that period is that the pronunciation of most of the long vowels changed. The tongue position in pronouncing those vowels, long vowels, changed. Tongue position shifted a little upward in the pronunciation of most of the long vowels. So, if a long vowel was pronounced with the highest possible tongue position, it normally diphthongized, means it was changed into a vowel glide from the vowel. For example, U became ow. Similarly, E became I. So the earlier fifth became 5. These changes took place only because of the change in pronunciation pattern of long vowels. This event is called Great Vowel Shift. Here you can notice the word moose changed into the word mouse. So this was the result of the change in the pronunciation of long vowels. So this entirely changed, the vastly changed, you can say, the pronunciation pattern of the old English, and now we have a different kind of pronunciation. And you should know that this is, all these periods are to be considered in continuity. We only divide them into three different parts for the sake of our convenience of study. Middle English period is largely a transitional period from when the Old English period was changing into the English in a different language, the language that we use today. So Middle English period is mainly known for that. I hope all the major developments are discussed here, and there will not be any problem for you to write your answer in examination. So I think this much for today. Enjoy your study, and we will be here again on different topics. For example, we did not decide how standard English was chosen, so it will be a different topic. That's why I did not discuss that in detail in this class. We had to discuss only the major developments, the major changes that English language changed during this period. So that was all. Thank you for watching, and if you like the video, please like it and subscribe the channel.